so excited because I have finally fixed a thorn on my side on my 02 Malibu. People have a lot of problems because all of a sudden they'll go out to start their car and it won't start, and it won't crank. Well, it'll crank, but it won't start. And right now, what you're seeing is the anti-theft light blinking. Okay. Well, to make a long story short, I wasn't getting this indication here, and I bought this vehicle from a friend of mine because he'd had it to mechanics and they couldn't figure this thing out. And I got into it, and I wasn't getting any check engine lights. I wasn't getting any indications from this anti-theft. And what you're seeing right now is that's blinking. I've got this set right now. To reset it, you're going to turn your key on and let it set for 10 minutes, and then that light will go out and you should be able to start it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna find out that's not going to be the case here in a minute, because I'm going backwards. I've solved my problem, and now I'm gonna do this video for everybody who's had the same problem and may still have the same problem. Now, I've been working on this thing for almost a month since I got it. I've changed the cam sensor. I've changed the front crank sensor. My buddy said that he had a shop that changed the front crank sensor. They didn't change the other sensors. They just changed that back crank sensor. I've checked all my wiring for 5 volts going to all my sensors, and this has gotten worse and worse. And all of a sudden now, it wouldn't even crank. Well, it would crank, but it wouldn't even start. Before I could drive it for a day or two, Buddy was able to drive it for a week or two. Okay, so these are some of the symptoms that the vehicle's had, and then I got in there and tried to disconnect the. I was going after the anti-theft, but that didn't seem to cure the problem. But now I've got the anti-theft is actually working like it should. Okay? All right, back to where I got in there and found, got into Google and found out what the most issues were with this vehicle, and it is the ignition switch setting off the anti-theft. So I said, okay, that's where I'm heading. So this is where I'm at now. This is the old one. This is the old ignition hub, should I say? I want to say. And then you got the ignition switch. Okay. On top of the ignition switch, here's another one. You've got this little sensor. Okay. And this is. I went to the junkyard and I picked up a whole new. No, one minute, whole new. But it's the whole ignition switch assembly with the ignition key assembly. And I've already plugged this in, and I've already tried it, and lo and behold, the car now starts, and it starts fine. After you reset the anti-theft system. So I'm going backwards, and I put the old ignition assembly back in with the original. This is the original setup here. And as soon as that anti-theft light goes out, then we'll be back to normal. And what has been happening is I've been getting a crank and then a shutdown. A couple seconds and then it'll shut down. I also, prior to that, was not getting an ignition at all. And what I did is I pulled the ignition switch out, and then I turn the key, or turn the internal mechanism inside here. See it in there. There you go. With a screwdriver. And lo and behold, she cranked, fired, and shut down. So I knew I was close to succeeding. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna wait as soon as I get that anti-theft light to go out. It's still blinking. I will be back. All right, I'm back. And it's been 10 minutes, pretty much just about on the dot. And the anti-theft light is out, which means it is armed and it can start if it's gonna start. So here we go. And as you can hear, she will not start. And that is the old system. And as you can hear, nothing. She will not start. All right. And that's what I was hoping, because I'm trying to do this video for you guys. And as it goes in my luck, every time I go to do something, I can't get it, so it's going to do it right. So, all right, we're going to swap out switches here. You're going to watch me do this. What I'm going to do right now is I'm turning it off. I'm going to go out and disconnect my battery. That's the first thing you want to do. All right, I'm back. And just a quick, and to let you know, this is the new one that came with it. I did swap out this one here. And this is exactly what I'm going to do right now. What you have to do is you go underneath here. No, I'm on top. It's upside down. Right in here, right on top here, is a little release button. What you have to do is you have to turn your key all the way on like you're going to start it. Push that in, and then you can pull it out. Okay? That's how you do that. All right. And the reason I had to do that is because you have your anti-theft. You got your anti-theft wires right on top. Okay? It's right here. Okay? You got to push these little tweezers here, and then it'll pop right out. Okay? So you want to do that. As you can see, I did disconnect this thing in part of my troubleshooting, because I wanted to see if that was gonna. What people do is they cut this and they put a switch in between it, so you can turn your theft on or theft off. You can get a couple of videos on that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the big wires out. Now previously, to pull this out, of course the radio is missing. Okay, you go behind here, you got 2 screws here, and then you've got your cable that goes in here that governs your shifter. Okay, right now I can put it in any gear I want, okay, without the switch, okay, but your cable goes in there. All right, we're gonna go back to we're gonna go to the new one, and that's what you're gonna want to do. You want to put your first set of white one goes up the front one, and then your other one goes back. I think these, you can get a schematic and they can tell you exactly which ones these are. These are basically your reds are your powers, and then it breaks down your orange, yellow, dark orange. I really didn't. I got into that, but I really didn't. I'm not gonna do on that. Here we go. Put this crazy thing back in there. Put it back in. Squeeze that thing. And I am so excited. I am telling you, I've been at this thing for a month now since I bought it. And the whole point was it's a winter car so I can get my Stang off the road. And right now I'm gonna put the original one that came with the car back in it. I verified that they both work in this. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the exact same thing. You're gonna kick it back, Because what happens is, if you don't have it, you got this locking device, you got to turn it, and now it's saying, and also the big tumbler here has got to line up with that hole in there. So slide that in there. Back. Okay, she's locked in. Now you're in. Okay. All right, that's where we're at. It's on. It's off. Okay. What's going to happen now is it may or may not. When I go to start it, it may or may not set off the anti-theft. There I go again. I'm going to do the battery. All right, I'm back. Here we go. I got hooked up the battery, and now I'm going to turn the key. Okay, hear the battery, hear the pump kick in, and all I got showing is that's all I got is the seatbelt light, and I got a check engine, oil, and battery. Okay, now I'm going to turn it. I'm going to start it. It may or may not trigger the. Right now, it may not trigger the theft. It may or may not. I don't know. But if it does, then you got to wait 10 minutes because it's got to think about itself. And then, or think, should I say. So here we go. There you go. And I didn't get a theft light either. And there you go. It was all because of this thing here. All because of that. And again, some of those symptoms are you're gonna be driving down the road, and all of a sudden motor's gonna shut down. You're gonna be coasting along. Put it in neutral, and then it would start. I'd be able to turn the key and start it again. Sometimes the starter didn't engage with the flywheel. It's a good idea to pull over the side and start up. But and then sometimes I'd be right at the light, and that puppy would shut down. It's like, oh, great. In fact, I got stuck in the middle of the intersection once too. Not a good thing. And then I was getting out of my driveway a couple weeks ago, which is the last day I drove it, and I got out in the middle of I pulled out of my driveway, went into the highway. Thank God nobody was coming any other direction, and she shut down on me, and I could not get it back. I could not get it started. So, as you can see, it is now running, and it's taken me, as a backyard mechanic, it's taken me a month to get her started, and this was the whole problem. So, any questions, any comments, feel free to comment and ask. I will love to tell you my experience. I even changed the engine body controller, ECM system, and that was not the problem either. I changed that, and I'm keeping that. That cost me a little more money than I wanted, and that was it. So I hope this will definitely help you, my friend. It definitely something. Thank God I was being persistent and consistent with. So anyway, there you go. And I'll get this. I gotta get this back in, of course. But other than that, I just got the cable. It's got 2 screws, which it mounts right there, and then put your radio back in. And anyway, I am so excited And we'll let you go from here. I'm gonna get this back together again. And check me out on the next